Welcome back to the Battery Podcast. I'm Aiden,
And I'm Jack.
and we are coming to you this bye week with a great interview with Cannon's Midfielder of the Year finalist, Matt Campbell. We'll turn it over to him shortly. But we just wanted to talk briefly before that about the end of year awards finalists. Those dropped a couple days ago. I think we had at least one Cannon in every category except short stick, D mid, and face-off athlete. Obviously, the governor got robbed there.
Yeah, I was just about to say love Tucci, but I understand
Yeah.
him not being a finalist. The fact that the governor is not up for short stick demon of the year actually kind of blew me away.
Yeah, let me quickly. I did not get his stats before we finished prepping this, but let me just because I know he had a great year. Um,
Yeah. Well, I
10
mean,
points.
I feel like the only thing you could really argue is that he had such a great year as a two-way midfielder
Yeah, he
that
played too much
if
offense.
like exactly that he had too much offense to be just a D mid
Yeah.
is the
We
only
got
argument.
played in every game, 14 ground balls, six caused turnovers, 10 points with four 1 point goals, one, two, four assists.
Yeah, so that's just a really good two-way midfielder. So I guess he just gets burned
Yeah.
because
On,
he because
if this
he's
is right,
too
on
good.
11 shots, he had 5 goals on 11 shots. That's amazing. Um, so
Man can shoot.
yep, trainer got robbed. We'll acknowledge that. But I mean, some of these are I think for sure locks. Like we all know Teet's going to win MVP and then necessarily attackman of the year. How can he not?
Yeah.
I mean, you can make a case for Asher if Teet had scored like 20 fewer points, but when you reset the record by that much, that's hard to argue with.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I think the best case is, the guy we're turning it over to in a moment, Matt Campbell. Um, finished. He wound up, kind of cooling off from two later in the year. Only like not only five on the year. Romar Dennis did his thing in the second half for the Woods. He finished with seven. Um, I didn't get the stats for everyone. I mean, I don't think Schreiber should win just because he didn't like he got hurt, and I don't know if these awards take the playoffs into account, but like whatever the Archers do in the playoffs, Schreiber's not gonna have anything to do with it. Um,
Mhm.
where, obviously we hope Campbell has three more games left to impress. Courier as well, not gonna do anything else in the playoffs. Um, so I think his, well, the league definitely would love to give it to Schreiber again, but let's take Campbell, 25 points, Dox Aiken, the other finalists that I think has the best case, 16. Um, and then Courier, 19 points, but also had 34 ground balls and 13 caused turnovers, which is just insane. Um, he is such an amazing all around player. Um, that even though the Woods had a really or the Dogs had a really tough year, the Woods did as well. Um, he was definitely a bright spot for them, as was Sowers. Let me just quickly so Schreiber had 27 points, so only two more. Um, only one, two. But very balanced, 11 goals, including that 1-2, 15 assists. Um, and then yeah, the other stats. He actually had a couple cuss turnovers. That's interesting. Um, and then this is what we've been saying all year. Goalie of the year. Gotta be Colin Kirst. I think you can't give it to Entman. He only played in 6 games. And in a 10
Right.
game season, that's just like unless he only gives up like four in each game of the playoffs, then sure. Reardon, who, is I would say is the best goalie. Um, only officially played in 8, and two of those other ones he left early, including the last game of the season against the Cannons. He left in the first quarter, and then
Mhm.
first game of the year, he gets pulled. I forget exactly when in the game that happened. I think around the halfway point. And then he missed both of their homecoming games as well. So he only played in 8, but kind of really more like 6.5, 7.
Right.
Um, so Dobson's definitely the best competition there. He played in every game, 23 saves week one, and he needed all of them
That
to beat
was
the Dogs.
nuts.
Yeah, that was remember the Archers went up. I think it was 12-4 over the Dogs, and then the final was 12-11. They just could
Yeah.
not score in the second half.
Right.
Um, However, his worst performance of the year was against the Cannons. Only made 8 saves, gave up 5 twos.
Mm.
So, it's clear who got the better of that matchup. I wound up actually not getting Collins' stats. Um, but I mean, we talked all year how good he was from two. Um, gave up a few, but let's see. We got, yeah, I mean, his goals against average or scores against average, which I think, so a two and a one count the same for that because it's how many literal times the ball went in the net, not how far it
Hmm.
was. 11.4. Goals against average is 11.0. Um, and then how many times he sparked transition too? Like that insane stat that in those like secondary assist opportunities, it's
Yeah,
DJ Malone and then him. That is insane from a goal.
right.
Like, yeah.
That-
I gotta assume he learned
It's his
something from
outlet
Malone there.
passes. They're just so good.
Yeah, I mean, you remember that electric moment in Homecoming?
Hmm.
He saves a two, dishes it on a beautiful pass to Ethan Rawl, who needed every inch of that 6 foot pole to
Yep,
grab that across the top to Holman, high bouncer 2 pointer to give the Cannons the lead. Like that was one of the most electric, like regular season moments that I've ever seen. That was insane, and
that
that was
was awesome.
sparked on both ends by Colin Kirst.
Yeah.
So, he's Boston's goalie of the year for sure. We'll see how much the league puts into Dobson. Because again, I mean, he had a fantastic year too. I think
Hmm.
the more objective part of me thinks he'll probably get it, but I just think Kirst had such an amazing year. Um, and the second half magic too. Remember, like the opposite of
That's the
what the Arthur said.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you don't have a lead by like 6 at halftime, you're not winning.
Yeah. He's just so shut down late in the game, which is so important for a
Yeah,
goalie, obviously.
absolutely. Yeah.
So
And 2-0 in overtime. I mean, now he didn't have to make a save against the Dogs, but still 2-0 in overtime.
true.
Um,
So
yeah. And, going back to Champ Series as well.
that's
Um,
right. 3-0 in
actually, they lost
overtime.
to the Woods in overtime in the
Oh,
first, but we can just, they won the one that counted.
right.
The one that Romar Dennis didn't play in because, man, is he a cheat good in sixes.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. So Campbell, I think has the best case. Kirst, we agree. He's our goalie of the year. Um,
Hmm.
Defender of the year, honestly, I think that's kind of a toss up. I think all of those guys had fantastic years. We got Eppel, Dunn from the Whips. Who else? Oh, JT Giles Harris from the Outlaws, and then Gavin Adler from the Atlas. I could I think that could go anyway. Um, whether they want to give it to Eppel 2 years in a row, or I know Dunn's won it previously, but
Hmm.
yeah. Um, all right. Anything else to say about the end of season awards or this bye week?
No, I don't think so. I think we should just send it over to Campbell. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to be part of the conversation, but got to listen back to it afterwards and definitely definitely seemed like a good conversation. So let's just send it over.
Yeah. All right. Here's my conversation with Matt Campbell. All right. Thank you very much to Matt Campbell coming on to talk to me today. So, Matt, how you doing?
Good, Aiden. Thanks for having me. Yeah, super excited to be on the podcast. Know you've
Awesome.
had a couple of guys on, but yeah, excited to get talking here.
Yeah, thanks. So obviously no games this weekend. Have you been enjoying your bye week?
Um, Great. I actually just got to the beach last night. So I'm really excited for the weekend. It's always great to just take a step back, have some time to relax a little, but also just step away um, for a weekend. But obviously still on the grind, still getting the work in, but excited to play next weekend. But yeah, just enjoying some time down the beach. Yeah.
Nice. Is that
How about you? What are you
oh,
up to?
I'm at work. I work at a college, so moving day's tomorrow. So we're yeah, it's pretty crazy atmosphere here, as you can imagine.
I can
Uh,
imagine. Yeah.
yeah. So we're glad I could take a little time to just talk about lacrosse, which I love, and not 300 stressed out parents and 18-year-olds.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, you mentioned like the grind continues, playoffs start next weekend. Um, it's kind of an interesting situation for you guys to be playing the same team that you faced the final week of the regular season going into um, the first round of the playoffs. Obviously, the regular season that doesn't happen. Was there any element of like we're not going to show something now to because we know we might face these guys again in a couple of weeks, or like how's the game planning like evolved? Obviously, you have great film to look at from the regular season finale to the playoffs. Like, what's that preparation process facing the same team twice in a row?
Yeah, good point. Yeah, it is a little different, and I think from a film perspective and all the work that we can do, we're really well positioned. I think with our coaching staff. I mean, we've got the best in the game, so already had a film session with the team to kind of go over the game um, from the most recent chaos game, and then have some sessions coming up. But Coach Holman's really had us thinking like from chaos's perspective. You know, what are some of the things they're going to take away from the game and
Mm.
potentially change from their game plan? Because we know historically the chaos has had some success. Changing their game plan up in the playoffs, catching some teams off guard. But at the end of the day, it's going to be the same personnel that we saw, and it's really just going to be, our principles against theirs and our players against theirs. So it's like there can't be too much that can change. Like
Absolutely.
we know it's a lot of it is just on us, and that's what we really try and focus on mainly is just making sure that we're doing what we can control. But yeah, I think it is interesting having just played them. But again, feel like we're really well prepared. Um, you know, Coach Mitch on the offensive side. I don't think we didn't really kind of go into it thinking we're going to hold stuff back. We just kind of treated it like a playoff game, like a kind of winner go home scenario. And now that is actually the case. So I think you'll see the gameplay and the intensity just go to that next level, which is what you expect in the
Oh,
playoffs. So it's going to be really exciting stuff.
yeah. I mean, yeah, the chaos is definitely, take it from the coach, not a team that likes to do anything at half speed. And in the playoffs, yeah, like you mentioned, they've had some amazing like playoff runs. I think the year they won the championship, they went 2-8 in the regular season.
Yeah,
Uh, so definitely a team that can turn it on and definitely keep your head on a swivel if Ian McKay's on the field out there. I know I've
yeah,
made that joke before, but he's definitely not a dude who likes to take anything lying down.
no,
Um, all right, so maybe we can wind things back a little bit forward. Um, so you drafted last year, obviously, to
Mhm.
a team that did not look too great the season before. Um, but it's been an amazing turnaround these last 2 years under Coach Holman. Um, what was that like coming into that new team and being part of that culture transformation? And how do you think it's gone so far? I mean, well, obviously.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's been an amazing experience, and I think the one person or reason for it is Coach Holman, and it's pretty obvious. I know you've had him on the podcast 2 times, and so you kind of know what type of guy he is.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I could talk all this whole hour or however long we're gonna go about him, but he's just an amazing leader, motivator, mentor, and he kind of came in like our first meeting. We sat down and we just established like our pillars, and he established like this basement boy where you probably heard of basement boy mentality where we're starting at the bottom and everyone's counting us out. Like the only place we can go is up from here. So he really gave us a lot of hope, and knew that he had brought a group of guys together that had the same mentality and were ready to buy in. So he's always kept things honest and open. And it's just been an amazing journey. We didn't win that first game, but
Hmm.
we all were just confident in the process, and that's something that he harps on all the time. Just focusing on the process, and it's really been amazing, and it's definitely you've seen been pretty successful for him and for our team. But yeah, I mean, so much of the credit goes to Coach Holman. Obviously, there's so many pieces along with him. But yeah, so grateful to have been drafted to the Cannons, and it's been such an amazing experience so far.
Yeah, absolutely. We certainly love having you on the team. Um, so I'm curious also, like the PLL is pretty unique in that the rookies wind up playing a full season of college, where their teams usually are doing pretty well, like playing sometimes, up until the week before the season starts, and then you play an entire full pro season after that. What was that like for you last year, and then how did that compare to having that full kind of pro off season this year?
Yeah, yeah, that's a great question, and something that I think is maybe a little underlooked in this league, because you're right. Like rookie year, I think that you're an amazing advantage versus maybe some other sports. Obviously, being in the league a little longer gives you that
Mm.
experience, and you're just more comfortable. But from like a um, how do I say it? Just like a conditioning standpoint, mentality standpoint, you're so dialed in college lacrosse. Like you live and breathe it every day. You're playing six 6 hours through lift, film, practice. Like you're just in lacrosse mode. So your body's ready,
Mm.
and you're very fresh. So coming out of college, like, well, I was definitely really nervous, and was questioning whether I was good enough to be out there with some of these guys. Um, like I was physically ready to go because I couldn't have been in better shape coming right off of my college season.
Mm.
Um, and that sophomore season coming out, the second season is a huge difference because a lot of guys, myself included, start work. It's a big adjustment, just like moving into the real world, becoming an adult.
Yeah.
A lot of your time is taken up, so you have to be really efficient with the time you spend, and making sure that you're really prepared for the season. So I was definitely a little nervous about it, but I knew that if I put the time in, I was going to be just as prepared as I was coming out of college. And so um, I think it's just a testament to all the guys in the league um, that can play at such a high level for so long, and especially while having full-time jobs. But it's definitely a big difference, and um, I would like to be back in that situation where I'm coming playing out of school, but do my best to make sure I'm 100%.
Yeah, that's an interesting perspective. I kind of would have thought it'd be the opposite. I mean, I feel like Pat Cavanaugh has been held together with duct tape the past couple of years.
Yeah,
And so
yeah,
we're not like going to see him at his full potential until next year
true.
when he has that full
Yeah,
offseason. But
yeah. I wasn't as fortunate enough to go as deep as him,
no,
but I mean, yeah, he put his body on the on the line,
yeah,
and did whatever it takes. And yeah, we're just starting to see now a healthy Pat, which is, as you saw, pretty dangerous, and
absolutely.
um, he is just a freak.
Yeah. Yeah, I really cannot wait to see him get fully healthy. And if somehow
Yeah,
you guys wind up getting Chris as well, that would be, I mean,
yeah,
I said this to Holman the first time. You're kind of the family team. It's like, what do we got to do to get Colehurst over there? Um,
yeah,
and probably not CJ. I think he's probably going to be a water dog or a redwood at the worst. But
yeah, yeah.
would
That would be insane.
yeah. Um, what do you do for work outside of lacrosse?
Yeah, I work at a firm called Hamilton Lane. Um, it's a private equity firm in Conshohocken, which is a suburb right outside of Philly. So live in Philly, and yeah, I mean, it's been great so far. Obviously, have a lot more fun playing lacrosse,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's great. I'm really fortunate that they're understanding of me playing, and they've been so supportive. So, um, love the people I work with there too. So, I'm really grateful for that.
Awesome. Did any of them make it to the Philly weekend?
Um, yeah, yeah, couple of them. But yeah, hopefully if we make it to the championship,
Yeah,
can get more people out.
absolutely. Yeah, so that obviously like homecoming was like the Boston homecoming was really special for us, hopefully for you guys. I definitely want to talk about that, but I also like
Yeah,
you had a second one in Philly, being, where you're from, obviously, and then especially because you played at Villanova. What was that experience like playing back in your college stadium now as a pro and for the away team?
yeah, that was really cool. Just being back there, seeing, Coach Corrado and all the Villanova staff. I mean, just kind of brought me back, um, and just reminded me how grateful I was to go there, and I had such an amazing experience. Um, like going back into the locker room, um, they had just redone the locker room, so we have like pictures on the wall of like more recent teams. So like we had pictures of our team and um, like memorable moments throughout the season. So it was nice to kind of go down memory lane and just remember the amazing time that college was, but playing lacrosse there as well. Yeah, and just felt like really comfortable on that field, having played there for 5 years, because I did that extra year. But yeah, it was awesome being able to see family and play at Villanova, and get that overtime win. So it was
Yeah.
like a perfect weekend for me. Didn't really have to travel, overtime win, saw all my friends. Like it wasn't much more I could ask for.
Yeah, scored a two as well, if I remember
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
correctly.
yeah.
Um, yeah, what a treat for you guys. I know obviously Trainer was the star when we were up here in Cambridge,
Oh
but
my God, that was special. I
yeah,
mean, you kind of knew it was going to happen, somehow. But I mean, that experience was something else. Definitely honestly probably better than the Philly weekend. Um, just a surreal experience.
Mm.
And the coach Holman sent us that PLL video this morning. The
Oh yeah,
Boston fans are different. You guys did an amazing job in that video, kind of explaining the history of Boston lacrosse and the Cannons. So yeah, you guys did a great job there. I mean, it really was a different experience. Like you could just feel the energy in there. Um, remember a couple times just like fans booing at the refs, like
yeah,
it going silent when like the Water Dogs scored. Like it really felt like um like we had like an extra player out there almost. So I mean, so excited to play in Boston again.
yeah. I
But
think
yeah, that was cool for
it
sure.
was it was for sure. Like I've been to a couple national championship games, which is probably the only crowd that's like been bigger than that as far as lacrosse, as like for the level of enthusiasm and engagement. But that's so 50-50. Where having that be like 8,000, 9,000, whatever it was, all like basically all Boston fans was amazing for me to be part of too. Just to be a part of that crowd and see all the people love the sport the way that I do and cheer you guys on. And yeah, like what a treat that you guys get. Your first playoff game is also essentially a home game for you. Um, and then if you're lucky enough to make it to the semis, you won't play the Atlas, so you won't have that away period uh as well. But like, yeah, I cannot wait to see like and obviously be there. You guys take on the chaos with that crowd behind. I think it's gonna
Yeah,
be
yeah. The crowd last year to that was great. I remember Jeff had like a Bellrica like section. It was like
Yeah.
50 plus people. They had signs everywhere. He went off in that game too. So I wouldn't I would expect him to have a big game again.
Yeah, he's been lighting it up offensively in the second half of this year.
Yeah, I mean, people forget he was an O-mid in college.
Yeah. I believe he has the UMass record for goals from a midfielder or points, one of those two.
Yeah, he could easily play offense on any team.
Yeah.
He's just so versatile. It's just he's such an asset to have on both sides of the field. He's just an amazing athlete, and yeah, I mean he's dangerous. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's awesome.
I should have asked this in that first part, talking about the rematch with the Chaos. Are we gonna see you on attack again? And what was up with that in the regular season finale? It definitely did not cross my mind that that would have been in the game plan.
Yeah, you know, I think we're just we tried it out. You know, we're very flexible on the offensive end. Coach Mitchell has, you know, principle based offense, where, you know, there's not much scripted. He really lets us go out there and play. So the thought was, you know, kind of move Pat up to midfield, give him the opportunity to really, you know, dodge hard out of the box, you know, against shorties more often than not, which we feel really confident that he's going to win that matchup
Right.
a majority of the time. And you know, I had played some attack at Villanova. Chris played attack his whole life, so you know we definitely have, you know, different lineups that we can throw out, and it's just something that we wanted to try, and you know we're flexible, and
Mm.
if it didn't work or wasn't something that we felt like we wanted to continue doing, we could put Chris down there, we could put Pat back down there. So we just wanted to try it out, and you know I think yeah we'll see what we do next weekend. I think again it's the same personnel, it's just a different look, and just
Yeah.
trying to throw something different at the Chaos. So it doesn't really change much, but it was cool going out there, and just, you know, even for the first whistle, just being out on the field is a cool feeling. Being out there for the first face off versus being on the sideline, and just getting to play. But yeah, I mean, all of us are flexible to play anywhere and will play anywhere. Um, just very unselfish offense. We're just going to try and do what's best, um, and what gives us the best chance to put the most goals in. So I think you'll see probably something similar. But again, it's all kind of the same offense.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
All right. I mean, I definitely want to be able to see you like step down from 15. I think that has been
yeah,
definitely one of the highlights of the year. Was that something
me
that
too.
you like? I know, Coach Holman had emphasized that of like, two's more than one. And so emphasizing that as part of the game. Was that something that you worked on in the off season, is either getting better at shooting twos or like consciously trying to take more twos?
Yeah, definitely something I tried to focus on in practice this previous off season, because you know before that in college there, I mean, I would practice deeper shots, but no real incentive to try and shoot farther out.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's definitely something that I've tried to focus on, and it's something that you can definitely practice, because shooting twos is not just about like accuracy and power. Like there's a lot that can go into it. Like you see Chris Az is amazing at shooting around screens.
Mhm.
Marcus is, I mean, the best shooter in the world, but is really good at taking bounce shots from
Yeah.
two.
Oh, those high
Um,
bouncers are so beautiful.
so yeah, there's a lot of things that you can work on, and that I tried to, bounce shots and shooting around screens specifically. That's why I brought that up. But um, yeah, I think it's such a big part of the game, right? Because you can take the same amount of shots and score the same amount of goals, but if you more
Yeah,
twos goes in, you're going to win the game.
your
So
game against the Archers
uh,
and the Dogs. Yeah,
yeah, you see it a lot through the league. If most of the times, whichever team hits more twos is going to win. So yeah, it's kind of like basketball in that sense. If you have an open two, versus a deep one, like the risk reward for that deep one just really isn't there. So there's definitely some of that we talk about in terms of shot selection. Um, there really isn't a ton of focus like, all right, we're going to take a bunch of twos this game. I think we just have the personnel that find themselves taking more of those shots versus some of the other offenses in the league. And we've got guys like Cade that are just
yeah,
always leaking for twos. And he's due for sure for a couple. And I think yeah, we'll continue to make sure that it's a key part of our team because we're so dangerous. I mean, Chris, Marcus, Renner now
yeah.
banging it from two. So we've got so many guys that it yeah, we're just
Yeah,
gonna
Kirst
continue.
and Trainer as well.
Cursed trainer, like you don't see teams just having just a roster of guys that can shoot from two. And yeah, I mean you can see like sometimes they aren't falling. And you know, we might not be putting up massive numbers, but um yeah, you can just see the difference like when sometimes they go, sometimes they don't, but you just kind of have to trust that um yeah, sticking to the game plan that you got to take those shots. I mean, if they're open. So I think you'll see that
Yeah,
continue.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And the other element of hitting a lot of twos that you didn't mention is shooting the ball really hard, which you're also very good at. On like a lighter note, you participated in fastest shot this year, which we all kind of view as Jared Newman's contest to win.
Mhm.
Um, would you ever, if you participate in it again, would you want to try that with a long pole just to give yourself that other couple of miles per hour and maybe have a chance at that title?
Yeah. Yeah, I would definitely try it. The competition definitely is just a fight for second place behind Jared. But yeah, I mean, I think if I were to do it next year, I think I would spend just a little time maybe trying out. I didn't try out a long pole.
Hmm,
Um, I'm guessing that it would be slower starting off. I would definitely need to get comfortable with it.
for sure.
I also would try maybe a different stick than what I use. Just add a ton of whip and just not not care where it's going and just shoot as hard as I can.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, so I mean it was a really fun competition. Um, you had a lot of fun, but I think yeah, if I were to do it next year, I think I would put a little more time beforehand into trying different sticks and maybe a long pole. That was definitely something people talk to me about after. Just that, not that it's unfair because it's just the fastest shot, but shooting, you're definitely at a disadvantage.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
I mean, you see guys shoot just as fast as him with the short stick. So um, yeah, I think it's a cool challenge, and I would definitely try it.
Yeah, well, hopefully we get to see that. Because I certainly would love to see more people break that 110 barrier. I think you get 108. Am I remembering that right?
Yeah, 108. Yeah,
Is that the fastest you've ever been clocked, or has there been a time that you?
yeah. I don't think. Yeah, I haven't really clocked my shot many times, so that's definitely the fastest.
Hmm,
But I
that's got
think
to
I,
feel pretty
I got
cool.
a couple more miles per hour in there. Yeah,
Yeah, uh the last time I clocked out, I peaked in the high 70s. So
let's go.
well, shooting over 100 is a pretty cool feeling. Um yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
it's all
wonderful.
about the stick. You just didn't have the right stick.
Yeah, I'm sure that was it. It was whatever the PLO had in the fan zone, so definitely not. Um, yeah, but no, I know shooting for speed's not my thing. I'd definitely be one of those. I could play for 20 years and never have a goal for 15 yards, mostly because I play defense. But yeah, so the other like big, I guess we'll say accolade that you've gotten that just came out yesterday, is you're one of the finalists for midfielder of the year. Could you talk about like what that means? Was it like, did you find out in advance that it was coming? And just, yeah,
Yeah,
what that means to you, or being a finalist means to you.
yeah. Did not find out beforehand, so saw on Instagram and got a text from Coach Holman. But yeah, obviously a great honor. I mean, to be in the same conversation as Tom Schreiber, like
Yeah.
Zach Courier, like that. I mean, that's amazing. Those guys have just been dominant in the game and at the midfield position for so long. Um, so it's obviously a great honor. I think when you look across our team, we just have so much talent, like old veteran guys, young guys, and then when you have guys like Marcus, Asher, Epple, Rawl, Kirst that are just like amazing at their positions. Our team just has unreal talent, and the whole league is insane talent, but like our team especially, like we have all the pieces, and it's what you know why we're so excited coming into the playoffs here. And then when you combine that with kind of the culture that Coach Holman has created, um, I think it's just really exciting. Yeah, it's all in front of us, and it's just kind of that execution piece for us. So obviously a great honor, but what we're all really focused on is this next game coming up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's a good athlete answer there. Um, no, I mean, yeah, you definitely can't look to the awards before you guys get the title. Do you know off the top of your head when the winners are announced? I think it's right before the championship.
I honestly don't know.
All right. I should definitely know that as a good podcast host, but
It might be at Gillette, or no, I think it. Yeah, I don't know.
let's see. Friday, September 13th. Yeah, so 2 days before the championship.
Cool.
Great. All right. Well, hopefully you'll be there and well, you'll be in Pennsylvania either way, but hopefully you'll be there
Yeah.
because you're playing in the championship. And
Yeah.
I certainly think that you should win that award for the amazing season you've had.
Appreciate it.
Hopefully you get another couple twos in the playoffs here, and we really cement that because we know
Yeah.
unfortunately Schreiber's not scoring any more points this year, nor is Zach Courier.
Yeah.
For two different reasons. Yeah. I'm always curious asking anyone who coached or participated in sixes because it's such a different form of the game. That year one, I really was not that much of a fan of it. And maybe that's just because the cannons weren't in it. But then year two, especially being there for pretty much the whole
Yeah.
time, really turned me around on that. Did you watch the 2023 and Champ Series, and what did you think of sixes then, and how has that changed after playing in it, if it has?
Yeah. So I definitely watched some of it like live. I can't say I watched every game. Obviously, like when I knew we were going to the Champ Series, I'd watched every game, just to try and get as much film as possible because that's really all we had to go off of.
Yeah.
And from the outside looking in, like it seems like a very fun form of lacrosse. Really fast paced, like focused mainly on the offense. And then when I started to talk to guys like Marcus and Trainer that had played in it, and some other guys in the league, I think the biggest thing and difference was a lot in the conditioning, and just how grueling it is the week on your body. You don't really understand that watching it, but you're playing pretty much every day, just really grueling, intense form of lacrosse. Yes, it's so much fun. It's basically like West Jenny, which is like the most fun lacrosse drill in practice that you can do just as a game on TV. Like it's so much fun to play, but it is so grueling on your body. Very similar to box in that sense, just how physical it is. Um, and you're just always out there on the field, kind of like basketball. So definitely a different form of the game, and one that I think is very fun to watch, fun to play, really accessible for the whole lacrosse community. I think that's why it's the form chosen for the Olympics. But yeah, I mean that week was was crazy. Um, it was really brutal on the body though, and kind of just a war of attrition when you looked across at all the injuries
Yeah.
throughout all the teams. We just did an amazing job at staying healthy, just making sure we were taking care of our bodies, and had the coaching staff, with the addition of Brody Merrill, just having that box, playoff experience, to take us to the finish. But one of the coolest experiences I've had playing lacrosse, and super excited for after this season to be able to do that again. But yeah, I think the biggest thing that people don't realize is just how difficult it is, um, on the athletes that play in it to stay healthy and perform at their best throughout that week.
Yeah, I really don't know how you guys were running at all by the time, like the fourth quarter and the overtime of that championship. Like because the rosters were 12, right? So it was
Yeah,
basically 5 offense, 5 defense. Like I like to go out there basically every 30 seconds for a week is just an amazing, like, did you just like sit down for a week after that? Like how were your legs feeling, or like your arms getting
yeah,
all those times?
yeah, yeah. I definitely put the stick down for a little bit after that week. Um, I think I tore something in my wrist. I was a little banged up in my hamstring, so I was like, all right, I'm taking a break for a little bit. But yeah, it was really hard, but it was so rewarding. And learned a lot
Mm.
that I think will help us for this coming um series. Like I think if I know you were watching, but we kind of started off doing more of like a OD out kind of scenario versus more um in in the finals going to like a line for offense, a line for defense.
Right.
And found success doing that. So um it's such a different game that having that experience last year is going to be a big benefit for us, and um, definitely position us well for the upcoming series. And just yeah, I mean, the more time you get to play with your team, the better you get. Like, I mean, there's 10 regular season games, and we're practicing like once before each game, so we're practicing 20 times together throughout the season. Like that's a
Yeah.
handful. That's like nothing. So it really is super important, like the more time that we get to spend with each other. So I think that series really helped us for this season. We'd already kind of built the built the groundwork and the pillars with Coach Holman the previous season, but we're kind of able to bear some of that fruit in the championship series, and continue to build into this season. And throughout this this regular season, have really taken that next step, and yeah, excited for what's to come.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, just having that full week of being with the boys,
Yeah,
uh,
awesome.
and getting that chemistry. Yeah. I can't. And I think it's you guys and the Archers are the only teams who are returning, although the
Yeah,
Owls were there year one. So hopefully that bears some fruit. I know the Archers certainly had a champ series to forget, but I'm sure they learned some stuff too that I'd be
Yeah.
definitely be interested to talk to them about. Um, and I think we're gonna get Colin Kirst on at some point, and I'm very curious what that was like from a goalie's perspective because you were just getting shelled.
You
I
know,
think
he's the perfect guy for that. Colin is so unique as a person, but also as a goalie. And I think that's just generally goalies are unique is to say
yeah,
is a one way to describe them. Some would say crazy. Both I think are true, but you know, I've played under or played with a lot of different goalies. They all have such different playing styles and practicing styles. Some take a million shots beforehand, some take none. Like Blaze, I think probably barely sees any shots from what I can tell and what I've heard. He just likes to go out and play. Colin's the type of guy that wants to see a million shots as
Mhm.
hard as you can, like from 10 yards away, and he's mad if you don't shoot it as hard as you can.
That's wild.
He is so dedicated and um, so driven. He's the perfect guy for that. Like he would stand in there and take as many shots. Doesn't matter where he's getting hit, how hard he's getting hit. Like he's the perfect for that series, and I think is the best goalie in the league. But I mean, he's phenomenal, and
Yeah.
I it takes a different type of person to be in net for that form of lacrosse and for any form of lacrosse in general.
Yeah, for sure. I'm glad to hear that he likes it. I mean, I guess if he didn't, he wouldn't play goalie.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
uh yeah, that I truly just because it's not that like the games are shorter, but man, there's just so many more shots per game. So
I'm so
glad he
close.
found the right job. Yeah, and I mean I totally agree. I think he should definitely be the goaltender a year with the season he had. I mean, we jinxed him a little bit that he only gave up 1 2-pointer for most of the year, and then I think there were a few more that squeaked in the last couple of weeks, but just an incredible season from him and from all you guys. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, been really fun. Um, if because you played in college in Philly, you're from the Philly area. Um, did you grow up like an MLL fan? I know you had the Barrage for a little bit there, but what was your like your fan experience of lacrosse when you were a kid?
yeah. So I actually grew up in New Jersey, but
Okay.
my whole family is from the PA, like General Villanova area. Um, so growing up, I mean, I was a massive fan of like Mark Matthews and Paul Rabel. Like Mark Matthews just being a lefty and how
Hmm.
um, creative and flashy in a sense he was. I mean, I know you've definitely seen some of those highlights that he had.
Oh yeah.
Playing for Denver against Team USA, some of his toe drags at Denver, like I would just be in the backyard just trying to replicate that. And Paul Rabel, I mean, just playing midfield, like at my age, like who wasn't like a massive Paul fan? Like
Absolutely.
I would watch all his YouTube videos, and just his ability to score on the run, both hands, shooting on like both hands. He was just amazing to watch. So I mean, those two guys stick out for me at the pro level, and then Rob Pennell in college. Like he was just unstoppable watching his question marks, and um, definitely watched Marcus, and just wasn't really a fan of one college, but just loved watching college lacrosse, and um, yeah, really any lacrosse I could watch, I was watching. So definitely tried to take a bunch of different things from different players. But yeah, I would find myself just on YouTube watching, then going in the backyard trying to replicate it like over and over until like my mom told me we had to go in for dinner. Like I was just always out there playing just because I've loved the sport
Yeah.
so much. continue
And
to.
that's definitely a common thread. I think we hear from athletes kind of no matter what the sport is that, you just love it. You play it every chance you get. Um, yeah. So glad to see that well, I guess you didn't have a pro Philly team maybe a lot of your childhood, but now obviously, most of your family and you yourself, I assume, are a fan of a lot of Philly teams. But no one's perfect. How have you managed to sway over most of your like teammates and friends from growing up? Are they all Cannons fans now, or do any of them kind of root for the Water Dogs on the side?
Definitely. All of my friends are definitely Cannons fans. And yeah, I don't know if they would tell me if they weren't, but yeah, I I mean, definitely definitely a fan of the Eagles and have grown up just a big Eagles fan. But having played for Boston for 2 years now and um seeing the fans there, it's really easy to see how supportive and um just rowdy and
Yeah.
just see how these fans interact. So hopefully one day, we're all playing and living in the cities. But for now, just yeah, converting as many people to the Cannons as I can. But yeah, I mean, all the Cannons fans are amazing. You guys are doing such a good job of building a following and getting the word out, talking about us. So I think we'll get there. We'll get
Yeah,
there.
absolutely. Yeah, I'm so excited for the moment when the PLL switches back to that regular like home and away traditional sports schedule. Cannot wait to get my season tickets and whether it's Harvard or Gillette or that proposed new stadium for the Revs in Everett, Mass. Um, yeah, wherever you guys are, can't wait to get to see you more than twice a year.
Yeah,
I think we're just about done here. I just was curious, if you like, what are your main interests outside of lacrosse, and do you have any kind of like hidden talents or hobby that would surprise people to find out about you?
yeah. So I'd say any sport. Um, I just love sports. Like grew up playing so many. Grew up going to like an all sports camp in the summer. Um, played 3 sports in high school throughout my 4 years. Um, so I just enjoy any form of competition where I'm going out and just having fun with my friends, whether that be golf, tennis, basketball, really whatever I can get a group to play competitively. Like I just love playing sports. Um, I think maybe one thing that is, I guess, a little unique is I picked up the guitar during COVID.
Oh, nice.
I'd I'd always been a little musically inclined. I played um, piano growing up, and kind of stopped that in high school, and then at college, my roommate started playing, and I was like, "That's sick." So COVID hit, and my sister had gotten a guitar when she was like 7. That's just been sitting at home, collecting dust. So I started to learn on that and really started to love it. Um, and pretty much spent like a majority of my time during COVID just learning the guitar. And it was perfect timing because it was either doing that or playing Fortnite or playing lacrosse. So we really weren't doing much. So I had a lot of free time and was able to play with my lacrosse teammates at Villanova. We actually got a band together and
Oh, nice.
were able to play live a couple times. Yeah, fortunate enough that a couple of my teammates had played guitar and drums and stuff. So really, really fun. I love playing. I still do, and definitely something I'm glad that I picked up. And then other than that, just love hanging out with my family and friends, like everyone does. But yeah, I think those are my main hobbies.
Nice. Did you do any singing in that band, or is that someone else's responsibility?
I cannot sing for the life of me, but I wish I could. But no, we had a couple different guys step up on the mic, whether they were good or not, but it was all fun. Yeah, it was a great time.
Awesome. All right. I think that that'll about wrap it up because like I said, at work, unfortunately, have to get to another appointment. But yeah, Matt, this was great. Thank you very much for coming on. We'll definitely see you on September 2nd. Hopefully cheer you on for a win, and then we'll support you from there, however far you end up going.
Yeah, thanks, Aiden. I really appreciate it, and appreciate you taking the time out of work to get this in. And you guys are just amazing, and only helping us as we try and grow the game. And yeah, I'll see you at Gillette for
All
sure.
right. Yeah, thank you very much. All right. Thanks.
Yeah, have a great day.
Yeah. Thank you again to Matt Campbell. That was an amazing conversation. Really generous with his time. I actually had to kick him off because I had another appointment I had to go to. And it's just another example of how, every athlete that we've had the pleasure of speaking to in the PLL or coach, has just been an amazing person, like so generous with their time, so like just grateful for the support that us and all the other fans give them. And that's just amazing to see. I mean, we get just the fact that, we started this up 6 months ago now or so. We've had the head coach on twice. We've had three players now. Like, there's no way you could start this that recently in any other sport. And like, imagine if we started this up for the NFL and we had Gerard Mayo on twice, and then like Drake May, and like that
Yeah.
couldn't happen.
No, that
And
it
we hope the league grows to a point where it is more like the NFL, or at least, like MLS and NHL, whatever, some of those that aren't quite as dominant. But uh,
mhm.
yeah, we're just so grateful for all the kindness we've been shown, and um, the amazing year that he and the whole team has had.
Yeah, everyone within the league is so awesome. That little tidbit that Campbell sent there that coach sent our video to the whole
Yeah,
team, like that video, I'm so excited with how it came out. The PLL, Danny, Brett, they did a phenomenal job with it, putting that thing together. So well done. And the fact that coach is sending it to the players like, hey, look, watch this, like
yeah,
that's really cool to me.
I know. Yeah, if anyone hasn't seen it, the PLO posted a video. They worked with us during homecoming to kind of
Hmm.
show the behind the scenes of like the supporter group leaders. That'll be linked in the description here.
Yep.
Um, but just another example of like the amazing access that the league has given us, like to get to go in the locker room, to get to go on the field.
Yeah.
We talked to a few more players than was shown in that video. Um, yeah, just including Matt Campbell.
Right.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing. And we could not be more grateful. So, and also, I didn't get to ask, or I didn't think to ask, but I would love to know if there's enough musical talent on this Cannons roster for him to form another band. That
Yeah.
was a very fun bit of info to learn, that he picked up
That
guitar and
that
the
was interesting.
yeah. So we'll
But
yeah, I would love to. I mean, we'll get a jam session. You play guitar too, right?
I do play guitar. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
was
do
like,
I.
oh,
So
man.
that would, who knows? Maybe we got a little battery, a little cannons.
Little battery cannons boom squad band.
Yeah. You
Oh,
know,
that'd
at
be
bass, it's not too hard. Yeah, I would love to know who in the team has the best singing voice, but
mm,
that'll have to be answered in another podcast, unfortunately.
yes. Yeah.
Um, yeah. All right. So thank you all for listening. We hope to see you next weekend in person at Gillette Stadium. We'll also have
Right.
um, the link to our ticket section in the description. That is the best price you're going to find. I did compare. It's definitely better than Ticketmaster. So if you want to get behind the bench, get riled up, get excited, pump up the crowd. That's going to be like this. Really, it's the first home playoff game in PLL history. Like I don't know how many Dogs fans there were in Philly the past, like when they were playing in that championship game. So let's, we got to bring the crowd, bring the energy, make this, as good or better as homecoming was back in July
Yeah.
to spur them on to victory. I think if they play like Coach Holman said, if they play their game for 48 minutes, they look up at the scoreboard, they're probably going to win.
Yeah.
And I absolutely cannot wait. I almost cheer the Outlaws to beat the Whipsnakes as well because we like our boys in the Rough Riders and don't want the Eastern Conference. I don't want a three-peat.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, like not that we don't like our boys in the snake pit, but
Yeah, no bad blood
we
there.
can't root for the Eastern Conference team.
Yeah, we got to win at least two before they can win. Actually, no, we got to win at least three before they can win their third. So,
Right.
yeah, well, yeah. So coming and the Green Beret versus Navy SEALs game. So that'll be at 1 o'clock.
Oh, that'll be really cool.
Yeah, I'm so excited to see that. So that'll be at 1. The Cannons play at 4, and then
Mhm.
6:30 or so, depending on how late the other game goes, will be Outlaws Whips. So
Right.
cannot wait. That is going to be an amazing day of lacrosse. No better way to get the day off work on Labor Day. Go down to Gillette and go absolutely insane rooting for these Cannons.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah. All right. So get your tickets if you haven't already. Watch the behind the scenes video from our homecoming if you haven't already. Thank you again to Matt Campbell, the 2024 midfielder of the year, calling it right now. And we will see you on Thursday for the official quarterfinals preview, and we will see you in person on September 2nd. But until then,
Yeah.
go Cannons.
Go Cannons.
Boom.
Boom.